Aikido has been... There's been a lot of things going around about whether or not Heart of the Huntress is considered a failed expansion. Now, I'm trying to find like where this started. I think it was... Yeah. The first thing I saw him say is something along these lines, right? Broken Ball said, don't even know if Heart of the Huntress is considered a failure. And then I disagree with everything he says. but Aikido says, we have several new cards that made meta impacts. Nidalee topped the world qualifier, and it's ultra playable. Nico has a solid deck in Warden. If the bar is new champs weren't in broken decks, that's fine, but I expect to not hear any bitching the next time we get Nara Samir released. And I said something along the lines of, okay, but what if the cards don't really impact the format much and they're turbo boring? So, I think Heart of the Huntress is a failed expansion. And the reason I think Heart of the Huntress is a failed expansion, and this is completely opinion-oriented. This is my opinion. If you love Heart of the Huntress, if you think Nico's the coolest thing since sliced bread, that's great, man. Stoked for you. I think Heart of the Huntress is a failed expansion because later, I typed it up a little bit, but I wanted to talk about it a little bit more. Aikido says, I can't believe Riot released 0 good cards to set 0 meta impact. Shake my head. Read it, please. And I, quote, treated it with, they had meta impact, but the entire set disappeared tomorrow. I wouldn't mind in the slightest. That's failure to me. All the cards, in my opinion, are not exciting, fun to play, or fun to play against. I'm sure some enjoyed this set, but to me, it failed. And the reason why I think Heart of the Huntress is a bad set, a failure of a set, is because if we look at all of these cards, these are the most impactful cards that hit the game in Heart of the Huntress, and not a single one of them is interesting. Not one. Not a single one of these cards is interesting. You know he's being sarcastic? Yeah. No, he's saying, I can't believe Riot released 0 good cards, and then he's showing you the cards that had meta impact. I understand how this has worked. He's saying that Heart of the Huntress is a totally fine expansion because, look, some of these things had meta impact. I think the champs are bad. They're uninteresting. What do you mean by interesting? I mean interesting to me. Sun Monument, not interesting. Sun Monument is the most interesting card. And I've played a lot of card games, and I'm going to tell you, at some point, this will need to get nerfed into fucking oblivion. We're not there yet. We're not, even though people say we are. Puff Caps with Sun Monument is totally fine deck, but eventually this card will be turbo broken, and they'll have to, like, nerf it. Not interesting. Stat check. Just another discard thing that either, like, is absolutely insane or literally loses you the game if you have too many copies in your hand, which is brutal. You ever play Jinx and you have 2 copies? You just lose. Like, it's really bad. All-Seeing Oracle is not fun for anybody involved. I don't like this card. This is just Demacia, but it finds a dude. That's okay. Siren Song, I mean, I don't think I have to tell you guys that this isn't the most fun or interesting card. It breaks the game just on stats. I'm glad they nerfed it, obviously. Portal Scholar is just a portal on a dude. We have that already, but it was a 3-1, and this is a better card. This is just Omen Hawk with Overwhelm that draws you a card. This card's actually cool. It's not like super interesting or anything, but it's solid. And I think I would like Failure to go more in this direction, actually. This one I'm kind of giving a bit of a pass to. Avenging Messiah is not interesting. It's just good. All-Terrain Trooper is just Rockhopper. The main problem I have with the set is that, like, the entire set is based around Ambush. That's like not the entire set, but like Ambush is the big new thing in the set, and I fucking hate it. It's so boring. Like, Ambush is just, you play a thing face down, and you're like, okay, well, it's either one of these two, or possibly Nidalee, but my opponent played it in this order, so it's this one. So now my opponent just has a face down of Rite of Negation, that it doesn't matter that it's face down. It's just Rite of Negation on a stick, and I either kill the unit before they get value off Rite of Negation, or force it out, or whatever. It's just, I hate Ambush. I think it's so boring. Magic the Gathering had a mechanic like this, and they called it Morph, and it was an incredibly huge failure. It was so bad, and I did not like it. And it's the same in this. I do not like it. The only thing good about Morph in Magic the Gathering is it made draft better, because you would always have a 2/2 on turn 3. That was like the only thing about it. I remember looking at this set the day the entire thing was spoiled and going over it on stream and reviewing every single card. And then chat asked me, hey, Majin, what card are you most excited about? And I said, none of them. I'm not excited to play any of these cards. And that's why this set was a failure to me. I had zero fun playing any of these. None of these is cool. And then he goes on to talk about if you want the champs to be more impactful, you're not allowed to whine when Nar or Samira come out and they're busted. And he's right. But I have always been a believer of released champions a little too good. If you have to err on the side of too good or not good enough, always release them a little too good. You literally said Ambush is just morph and I don't like morph. Yep. Yeah, and I stand by that. My opinion has not changed. If we have to choose between, like, Nico right now, who, sure, you could say Nico's playable. She's not, right? Like, the deck is just as good without her, possibly even better. Nico's not a good champion. If we compare Nico to Samira, here's the difference. Samira, one of the most interesting, cool champs we've ever seen in Legend of Runeterra. Samira is exactly what I want out of champions. She's powerful, she's impactful, she's flexible, and she feels like her League of Legends counterpart, right? That's what I want out of champions. If we take a look at something like Nico or Nidalee, they're replaceable. Their mechanics are a gimmick. They're not powerful. And they feel like a follower with extra text. Right? I don't want that. I want, like, more powerful things. I think a lot of times they get it right. I think the most interesting champs that Legend of Runeterra has ever released is Samira and Seraphine, and they were both busted on release. And that's okay. If it has to be busted for a month, let me do crazy busted things for a month and then nerf it. That's totally fine. Like, I'm going to have a blast for 3 of the 4 weeks, and then I'm going to be like, all right, I'm kind of done with this. And then it's going to get nerfed, and then I get to play this super cool champion for a while, and whatever. It's like, it's fine. And that's what I want. And this set felt like a bunch of just nothing. It felt like a bunch of nothing. That's good for all those who want novelty, but for those who are more mature, interesting. I mean, okay, what do you want? You want exciting mechanics? You're not getting them in this set. Do you want impactful cards with your very mature game? You're not getting them this set, right? Like, you're getting slight upgrades in things like Epic Scrap Traption. This card's, I don't even know why he put this in here. This card's so bad. Like, you're getting things that just break the game in the most unfun possible way. Like, Siren Song is just a stat check on a card. If my opponent casts Siren Song, I don't cast Siren Song, I lose the game. That's how Siren Song worked. I don't want that. It's not interesting at all. I'm okay with cards being busted. Like, when Samira was busted, yeah, it was like, okay, Samira's a little bit too good, guys, and all that. But, like, the Samira decks we were playing, Samira Fizz, busted Samira Jinx, Samira Leona, like, those decks were fun, man. I only liked Samira Fizz, but, like, people really enjoyed these decks. I don't want to play, like, dirtily mid-range soup where everything's just, like, kind of the same card, and it's the same thing I've been doing for a year. I don't want that. You just want the game well-balanced where even old champions would be used. Well, I mean, you got it this set because none of the new champions were used. It's just, I don't know. Samira Leona was not fun. No, Samira Leona is not my thing. A lot of people really, really liked it, and I have to acknowledge that other people don't enjoy the same style gameplay as me, right? But I think Samira Fizz was like a fucking blast. Playing Samira Fizz Burble Shelly was like so much fun, man. I just want more stuff like, I don't know. I feel like this entire set was a gimmick. And I've been rambling about this for like way too long, and I don't even really have any more points left. But that's basically what it boils down to. Is it felt like the entire set mechanic was a gimmick. There's a couple cards that are slight upgrades or are like way too good, like Siren Song, and it wasn't fun. And then I went back to playing Vaintrox and Dark Donger again and Varus, and like if this set isn't a failure, I don't know what set could be. Like, if this set isn't a failure, how can you... What could be a failure in your mind? Sure, someone's like, actually, I love this set. And that is totally okay. But to me, in my opinion, this set was boring. The mechanic's a gimmick. The champions are not interesting and not good. That's a failure. There's no redeemable aspect of this set for me. Not one. If you were like, Majin, okay, you can get rid of this entire set what cards did you miss? I would tell you 0. I would miss 0 cards. Not a single one of these would I miss. Not one. And that's a failure to me. So, yeah, other people are going to really enjoy it. It's not for me. I am hopeful for the variety patch because the variety cards have often been my favorite cards in the game, actually. I think Condense is a super interesting card, even though it's going to have to get nerfed eventually. I think Mischievous Mirai is one of the coolest cards we've ever seen in the entire set, in the entire game. Aphelios was a variety patch card. Like, this stuff is really... The variety patch stuff, I feel like, is when they really, like, spread their wings. Is when they really, like, try more interesting out-of-the-box stuff, because they don't have to shoehorn it into a mechanic that they just put in the game. And, yeah, that's my rant. Thank you for coming.